Hi, my name is Renee Allen, and I will be talking about the Tapr for the 2016-2017 school year at Westwood Junior High School in Palestine, Texas. Um, the first thing I wanted to address was our accountability rating. In all years past, we've met standards. One thing that I did want to highlight was that in 2014-2015, JH or Westwood Junior High received the top 25% in student progress distinction. I thought that was pretty awesome. Okay, so a little bit of background about our campus. We service approximately 231 7th and 8th grade students, with just a little bit more 7th graders and 8th graders. Our ethnic distribution, we have about 58% white, with trailing behind that pretty far would be 24 or 25% Hispanics, 14% African American, and about 2% two or more races. We do have quite a bit of students that are economically disadvantaged at about 65%. And even more than that, we have 66% of our students are at risk for not graduating. So this definitely plays into our report that we're covering here. One small percentage that goes along with the amount of Hispanic students that we have is that we only have 3.9, about 4% of ELLs. So to get right into it, let's talk about our weaknesses first. It's sometimes good to get the bad news first. So looking over the Tapr, we have a lot of average work. One thing that really stood out to me is that we have very, very low percentage in mastering. Right here, as you can see, we have about 14% or less mastering on all subjects, which is 5% less than state. So not extremely low. But if you look at the individual test subjects, to be specific, there were some testing subjects that we didn't even master on. We only actually mastered on social studies and math and reading. So science and writing actually did not get any type of mastering for the 2016-2017 school year. Along with that, we have 35% or less met grade level expectations. That means that the majority of our kids are only approaching the grade level that they're actually in. Another thing that I noticed was that we have a noticeably difference between how many females and how many males work in our school. We do have quite a bit of coaches, and this actually has increased since this 2016-2017 school year. We have hired more coaches, so there are definitely more males on campus than there were in this year. Another thing that definitely stood out to me was that teachers typically only stay 5 years or less. So there's really some type of inconsistency here with the way that these students are being taught. Even if they are different students, the success also leans on how long teachers stay. But if there were no weaknesses, we wouldn't be able to celebrate our strengths. One thing that's really awesome that really stood out to me was that we got 100% on the end of course exam in Algebra 1. And that actually also happened once again this year, and I believe it was 81% of those students that took the Algebra 1 this year specifically, 81% mastered it. But to go on, 41% of our student population actually requires accelerated instruction in mathematics. So we have quite a bit of students that actually take that high school algebra when they're in 8th grade, and our 7th graders that take 8th grade math. One thing to celebrate, or another thing to celebrate, is our ELLs. They are either approaching grade levels or they're exceeding progress, which is awesome. That means that that's definitely something there that we can celebrate. And another thing was that we have 96.1% attendance rate, which is definitely above state expectations.